Hello, my gorgeous light beings, my healers, my star seeds, my light workers. Welcome or welcome back to my channel, The Pleiadian Priestess. I have a juicy reading for you today, and we're switching things up. There's no song today, but it's going to be just as juicy, okay? I may pull some songs for at the end of the reading if I feel called to do so, but this is not really a reading that needs songs. So what you're going to do, let me clear what the reading's about. So basically, your reading is about your reputation, how do people see you kind of thing, your vibe. What's going on? Things falling? Sorcery? Yes, your vibe, reputation, how do people see you kind of thing. How do you show up in the world essentially? And we're gonna get into that. So what you can do is choose group one or pile one, deck one, deck two, or deck three. Okay, we're doing deck today since I don't feel like shuffling out specific cards for you guys. But what you can do, like I said, is choose a deck that's calling out to you the most, and then you're gonna choose your reading. And as always, as usual, I will see you guys over there. So I'll see you at your reading. Hello, my gorgeous group ones. Welcome to your reading. Today we'll be going over how do people see you? What is your reputation? Okay. How do you show up in the world? All those good things. We're going to get into the reading right off the bat with this deck you guys chose. This is the Wisdom of Avalon Oracle card, so I might as well. Group one, please. How does group one show up in the world? We have the Lady of the Lake. This deck's coming out for these readings. We have absolute truth, courage, self-respect, and responsibility. So you come off as someone with a lot of self-respect. Someone who is very courageous, who only speaks her absolute truth, and you're responsible, okay? Wow. We have burden. You can come off as someone who has like a lot of responsibility. With that responsibility coming in, and we have burden. Yeah, I don't think you walk around like you have the weight of the world on your shoulders, but you do walk around like someone who has to have their head very tightly placed on their shoulders. You have to have like a good head on your shoulders. You can't be um too crazy, too irresponsible, too out there. You can't be walking around like a mad hatter, which is what I heard specifically, okay? So it was kind of like you wear your responsibility on your shoulder with pride, and it may seem or look like a burden to other people. So the thing that you so easily carry on your shoulders, other people would consider a burden, is what I'm getting specifically from these cards. Here we have partnership. You do seem like someone who would make a perfect partner as well, or you work well with others, okay? I hate that we have the glare from the camera. It just pisses me off. Much better. And then we have one more card that came out, which is restriction. Yeah, you look like someone who holds yourself back, who could be, I don't want to say not fun or like uppity, but it's kind of like you come off as someone who could be incredibly wound tight to some people. But it's because you have to carry yourself in a certain kind of way, and you have a lot of responsibilities. You can't be someone who, just lets their hair down and has a good time. So you could be someone who people may call you like you have a stiff upper lip kind of vibe, or maybe you think you're better than others, kind of vibe. Interesting. But yeah, people think you hold yourself back from maybe having a good time, letting your hair down, because you're always the responsible one. You're always the adult in the situation. You're always the responsible friend. You're never the one who lets their hair down and sows their wild oats. So let's get some dice here for what else we can get. Here we have, I think this is Uranus. Unexpected. Maybe because you're so wound tight, they know, or people usually know people who are so wound tight are like a ticking time bomb essentially. So they're just like, I know there is more to you than this. I know that you're so close to just like, or you could be someone who looks like they want to let their hair down, but you can't because of the responsibilities that has been placed on your shoulders by maybe other people, kind of thing. Here we have Capricorn. Yes, giving real boss energies. Like people see you as like the boss, the person they look up to, the person they have to always be, on their P's and Q's when they're around. And then here we have second house, so it's giving like a rich energy. It's giving exclusive, it's giving high maintenance. It's giving prestigious. I'm hearing sophisticated. So you could come be someone who looks like or gives off the vibe of high society. You walk with your head held high, your shoulders pushed back. There's an air of authority and I keep hearing uppityness about you, where it's just like people know that you're not a run of the mill kind of person. You're not someone who um like, how can I say it? Like, you're not someone to be messed with, or like the jokey kind of person, especially with that Capricorn energy coming through. That's like very CEO, boss, father kind of energy. Don't mess with me kind of energy. So you do come off like a little bit um like too composed, too tight, uptight kind of vibe is what you're giving off to some people, or how you show up in the world. It's like giving CEO, always dressed to the nines, impenetrable, fortress is what I'm hearing. So you're also a little hard to read. Like I said, people think because you're so buttoned up, they don't really know much about you, but you come off as someone who has their life together, okay? Gemini the butterfly. Yeah, there's something about you that people know there's another side to you. But so far what's coming through in this reading is people see you as, like, with the butterfly, it's giving social butterfly. But it's like, even in social situations, you don't fully let your hair down and let your freak flag fly, is what I'm hearing. We have sextile opportunity. Yeah, because you come off as, what is it called? Like I said, the boss. Like, when people are around their boss, they can't be crazy. They can't say anything. They have to act in a certain manner. And whether you are anybody's boss or not, that's the energy you give off. Like, I always have to be on my best behavior. I can't say the wildest things. I can't act in a very, out there or crazy manner with this person, because they know that you are like um a window of opportunity for them to maybe heighten their status, or to get them a job. Maybe, maybe you're someone who, I'm hearing recruiter, so maybe you go to different places and give people your business card, and it's kind of like, as soon as you show them that part of you that's all business buttoned up kind of thing, it's like, oh, this is a fuddy duddy, kind of thing. Well, excuse the heck out of me. Here we have Uranus revolution. Yeah, you're someone who is the commander in chief. You are the leader, the head honcho, the top dog kind of energy. So they know they have to come correct if they're coming your way kind of thing, which kind of makes people, like I said, always like, what do you want to call it? What's the word? Hyper aware, hypersensitive. They're not able to let their guard down. So maybe because you're someone who's so well composed all the time, people find it hard to be um crazy or willy-nilly, or just their regular selves around you. They're always putting on a show to be their best self. And then we have the Sagittarius, the Voyager. So someone who is very abundant, someone who is, and I'm hearing, equal opportunist. Definitely someone who, like, you have your own business, you're well traveled, there's a lot of experience that people can learn from you, which is why they know they have to always come correct if they want anything to happen with you. I'm sorry, these cards are just working me a little. They're not showing up straight like I'd like them to. Okay. The Voyager, we have enthusiastic, philosophical. Yeah, you're definitely someone who believes, and like, you have philosophies, you have standards, you have morals, you have like a moral code or compass that you live by, that says you can't act this kind of way, you can't be this kind of way. It's like you're always business as usual. You don't really, or people don't see you as someone who could let their hair down, because you're always coming through. It's like I said, big boss energy. So what is their reputation? How does people see them? Like, big Saturn, like the father. Like, Saturn is not fun at all. Saturn brings the consequences. They bring the karma. Like, they're very restricted, composed kind of energy. And that's Capricorn. Like, there could be like a little bit of like intimidation, like you're intimidating, because I just heard the devil, and the devil definitely gives up the energy, because devil is ruled by Capricorn, which is why people feel trapped when they're with you, because they can't be their true and honest self. Maybe interesting. Here we have, look, the Four of Chalices. You come off as someone who's uninterested. Like, even if there's a party raging around you and everybody's like doing drugs or drinking, you're going to be the person that's in, like, no, I don't want to partake in any drink. No, I don't want your drugs. I can have fun without needing those substances, which could be, that's why you come off as a funny daddy, because you don't need these things to be happy or have a good time, which I love for you. We have the Six of Pentacles, but it came out in reverse or blocked, which is, yeah, you don't let yourself be taken advantage of quite easily. Like, you have to give, but you're not just giving to anyone. It's like, that's how they say it. That's how the rich people stay rich. They don't give their money or throw their money away to everyone. Here we have the Three of Swords. So you're a bit of a heartbreaker, like I said, because you're coming off of someone who's restricted. You're hard to get close to. You're hard to get to open up people. You've broken a lot of hearts in your day. Because people may think that you're just not interested or you don't want anything to do with them. It's just like, that's not it. It's just that you're not impressed with any, you know, you're not I'm hearing you're not impressed with low vibrational activities or offers, so you can kind of see through people. But I'm hearing you have all too inquisitive eyes, all too seeing or knowing eyes. You know when people ain't ish, essentially, and you know when people can provide things for you, and you're looking for partners. You're not looking for, yeah, this is what this is giving. You are someone who's not looking for friends with benefits. You're not looking for hookups. You're looking for something serious and long-term partnership. You're looking for marriage. You're looking for love. And when people try to come and offer you some flimsy, half-ass offer of love, or to let's just hook up for a little bit and see where it goes, you're just like, no, I know more than that. I'm not giving you my time. I'm not giving you my energy. I'm not giving you my resources, you know what I mean? All that kind of stuff to just have you leave in the end because you're just looking for a good time. Screw that. Here we have the Six of Swords coming through. So I'm also hearing you're someone who's hard to move on from. So the people who have you, whose heart you've broken in the past, whether you know you've broken their heart or not, you're hard to move on from. You're hard to forget. You're unforgettable. Here we have Knight of Cups Universe. Yeah, you don't want people's flimsy, um, immature showings of love and affection. You want a King of Cups showing of affection, or an Emperor showing of affection. You don't want a Knight or a Page. And then here we have Three of Cups Universe. This is precisely what I was saying. Precisely what I was saying. You don't want someone who is just here for a good time, not a long time. You're not someone who wastes your energy in that kind of way. And why does it still look not straight? I'll tell you, this is the most annoying thing about doing readings, guys. Like, wanting the cards to be straight, constantly fixing them, and they just still don't show up straight. It's like, make it make sense? Like, that's straight, that's straight, that's straight, that's straight. So what I want to do is move these cards over more so all of them can show. So we would have this, this, and then this came out next. This came out next. Then we had this come out next. So yeah, you're not here for a good time. You want to be with someone for the long run, for a long time. So whenever you meet someone or you're out somewhere, you're looking for friends that have long-term potential, as well as partners that have long-term potential. You're not wasting your time, your energy. Here we have King of Stakes. So this is definitely King of Wands energy. And it's like you're not looking for someone who's a playboy, someone who gets all the attention. You're looking for I'm hearing a deep cut. So it's kind of like you're not looking for the artist song that everybody loves. No, you're looking for the deeper cut that you can connect with on a soul kind of level, not the one that's so good for parties, the one that's generic or basic in a way, because those are the ones who usually, those are the songs that usually get the most play. The songs that are just like very generic, very basic, very high punchy beat, no depth to the lyrics, and you want the deep cuts. You want to know more about this person, and if people are not willing to open up to you, you kind of restrict their access to you. So you're hard to get close to, hard to get to know. It may burden people because they think, oh, you think you're better than everybody, huh? Kind of thing. And it's like, no, I'm just uninterested in the fast life. Okay. I think those are all the cards, though. That was a pretty straightforward reading. Yeah, you're someone who's well traveled. You're the one who's leading and starting the revolution. You're very out there. You're very different, and it doesn't have to be in like a weird or unique way. It's just that where everybody else is looking to hook up, and that's good and that's fine. Like you're giving old soul vibes with Saturn coming through, Capricorn coming through, second house coming through. You're looking for things of value, people of value, situations and relationships and partnerships of value. And people who are taking drugs and drinking all the time have no value to you. So it's like very no BS kind of energy, and it is a little or very intimidating to people. You're very protective of your energy and you don't want no toxic energy around you, kind of thing. But you're not someone who will turn away a conversation, is what I'm getting, because Geminis are very chatty, and they like people sometimes think you, like I said, you come off as someone who can have a good time, but it just depends who you're with. So some people see you as a social butterfly, and then some people see you as someone who's very protective or restrictive of access to you. They can't get close to you, and it's just like, why? And it's like, because you can tell right off the bat if somebody's here to waste your time or not, which we love. Okay. Yeah, people see you as a good opportunity. People see you as someone worth investing in. Someone who can bring more meaning to their life, who can bring good to their life. And it's just like, okay, but you're not going to bring anything to my life. So what are we getting? You're someone who's into equal exchange. If people are not giving you equal exchange here with the Six of Pentacles, you're not giving them your energy, At the same, like the thing, if you're like buying something from someone and they don't have money to pay for it, why would you give them the product for free? They're not giving you anything in return, equal exchange. You're not into all that giving away the goods for free. And that's the kind of thing, if you're like in this, you want to base this on love. If you're in a relationship with someone, if they're not dating you, taking you out, courting you, you're not getting anywhere near me. You're not going to get to know me. I'm going to come off as uninterested. Thank you. I'm good. Love and joy kind of thing. Like, why am I wasting my time? I already know that you're going to waste my time. I'd rather break your heart right now and move on in peace. But it still bothers these people, the guys in particular who you didn't allow access to your energy, or the girl in particular who you didn't allow access to your energy. It makes them upset, essentially. Okay. That was a pretty quick reading. I think that's all that I have for you, though. Yeah, you're someone who's very high maintenance, unattainable, high quality kind of thing. You're not letting anybody get close to you. If people are coming on the BS, you're cutting them off, you're breaking their heart, leaving them behind. Have no problem leaving them behind, but they're still caught up on you. Let's get to the bottom of the deck for end the reading. We have Temperance in reverse. Yeah, you're not into the um people who are just, I'm hearing all over the place, people who haven't found any kind of equilibrium or moderation or footing in their life. So people who are going out drinking every weekend, they haven't reached that part of life where they're settled down or looking to settle down. That's what the Temperance in reverse is giving me. People who are drinking too much, doing too much drugs, spending too much money, those people you stay far away from, because you're protecting your assets first and foremost. You're protecting your energy second of all, and you're protecting your heart, because if you put your time and energy into this person, they're going to end up breaking your heart because they're not looking for anything serious. Okay. So that's how you're coming off to the collective. That's your reputation on the streets. You're the heartbreaker, the person that's hard to get to know. People can't get next to. You come off as a little bit standoffish, but a few people know that you are someone who's a social butterfly. You are very talkative. You're very inquisitive. You like to ask questions. You're very intelligent. You're very sweet, smart, vocal. You can have a nice voice as well. People like to hear your voice, or like you could also have a very commanding voice. Or of course, if you're a leader and you give commands, your voice would be important because you're telling people what to do. So very bossy is coming through as well. Variety seeking, you like to seek the high of life with Sagittarius energy and Gemini coming through here. Also, like a very playful energy about you. For the people who do get to know you, there's also something very playful about you, something very mischievous about you as well. But yeah, you're easily adaptable, because we have two adaptable mutable signs coming through, Sag and Gemini. So you're very much, you attune or adapt to your environment or your energy. But if there's something about it that's making you uncomfortable or is leaving a bad taste in your mouth, you will remove yourself from the situation expeditiously. Okay, that's all that I have for you guys, though. I'll end your reading there. I hope this reading resonated. If it did, feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. Join the tribe. We'd love to have you. I hope you're having a beautiful, wonderful day whenever you watch this reading, and I will see you in my next reading as always. Bye, guys. Hello, my gorgeous group twos. Welcome to your reading. In today's reading, we're going to be going over your reputation on the streets. How do people perceive you? How do you show up in the world? Okay, so you chose this deck, which is the Numinous Astrology deck. Okay, it's Astro deck, but of course, it's Astro is short for astrology. So I meant you could be someone who doesn't like shortcuts, or who doesn't like laziness, who doesn't like what is the word I'm looking for? Um Nicknames. Oh crap, what's the word? You're not someone who likes nicknames. Code words. What's the word? That's rude. Abbreviations, I guess. That's the best way I can describe it. You're not someone who likes words that are cut off. So for example, astro versus astrology, you're gonna be the person who says astrology. You're very particular in how you speak, is what's coming through. You don't want people talking to you in slang. That's what I was freaking waiting for, slang. You're not a fan of slang. Thank you. Okay. So since you chose this deck, we're going to start with this deck. What is your reputation? How do people see them, please? Spirit, let us know. Give us a tea. Okay. Let's get all the cards out. I'll take these. And then I heard to roll the dice too, one time for the one time. So maybe some repeats. Here we have Gemini. We have fourth house energy. And then we have Venus. Okay. The first card we have is Chiron healing, and that's what that fourth house energy is immediately what I got as well. Like a very mothering energy about you. You're someone that makes people feel safe and sound when they're around you. Here we have 11th house energy. You take people to the edge or you bring them back from the edge is what I'm hearing. Okay, we have Virgo energy, which makes sense. You're the alchemist. You turn maybe stagnant, negative energy into positive flowing energy. We have allowing. Okay, that's the energy coming through you. You are an energy mutator. Mutable sign is coming through as well because we have Virgo here. And then we have opposition balance. Okay. Reputation. What I do want is to get more cards really quickly. Let me shuffle them. So you are someone who comes off as a healer. You provide very healing energy. You could be someone who is a wounded healer. So because you've been through a lot of pain, people can feel that from you, and that's why they feel safe with you. Because we feel safe with people we feel a kinship or a kindred spirit with, people who have gone through the same things as us. You would, so for example, if you were someone who grew up in the ghetto or the slums or in low income places, you would feel more comfortable around those people instead of or as opposed to people who came from money. It's just like you're what you're used to kind of thing. And you feel that way for people, whether they're rich, whether they're poor, it doesn't matter. You have that energy of feeling like, oh, I found somebody who I vibe with, somebody who gels well with me. You mesh well with people, or at least your energy does. You don't really set anybody off, whether you are someone who's rich who maybe hangs out with people who aren't, or whether you are somebody who isn't rich, who hangs out with people who are rich. You kind of know how to blend in, is what I'm hearing. Camouflage. So like the way I said, you could be someone who's from maybe high society, or you grew up having like a good, you like to read, you like to speak properly, your vocabulary is very top tier, which is why I'm hearing, yeah, code switching is what I was trying to get at. Like you could be someone who meshes well with the people who come from poverty and people who come from rich houses and people who come from middle class kind of thing. You mesh very well with everyone because you have that energy that's allowing. You encourage, you see the potential, and you clarify. You give hope to, you compensate, you intuits, tempers, responds, cycles, grows, realizes rewards. So people always feel better after having met you or better for having met you. Okay, move up. Like, why do the cards do that? They look perfectly straight from where I'm standing, and then when I look in the camera, they're not straight. Like, it doesn't make no kind of sense. None at all. We have the cow, nourishment, abundance, asking and receiving. That's giving me like very much mother energy. The way it doesn't make any sense to me, or the way somebody explained it on social media one time, like or who specifically chose cows for us to take milk from. You know what I mean? Why cows? Like, why do we say, yes, cow? We're going to take their milk. There's goat milk, there's lamb milk, there's freaking giraffe milk, there's actual human milk. If y'all want, you know what I mean? Why cows? You know, kind of thing. But there's something like very, nurturing and like motherly or safe about a cow. So I guess why they chose a cow. Here we have the ego, spirit, integrity, connection to the angelic realm. So you're definitely giving me someone who is a mystic. You are an alchemist. You could be someone who works with energy. You could be a Reiki healer. All those things are coming through, but people feel comfortable around you immediately, right off the bat, right after meeting you. Here we have truth. I'm hearing because you always speak your truth. You're not someone who like really lies. We have the Lady of the Lake. So you may have felt called to group one because this definitely came through in group one, and so did this. And then we have the novice, because you bring a fresh, new energy, playful energy to everything that you do. So if you're a tarot reader, you bring something new and fresh to that world. If you're someone who makes art, you bring something new and fresh to the art world. If you're someone who sings, you bring something new and fresh to the music world. That's your energy. You transmute energy. You're the alchemist. You take it from one thing and make it another thing. And that's like very special is what I'm hearing. Not everybody can do that. So you excel at anything you put your mind to, exceptionally. So you excel exceptionally at anything you put your mind to, which is one of your gifts. And how people see you, how you come off to other people. You come off as someone who's very creative, gifted. Okay, what else are we going to be pulling from? I'll say the tarot for after I get into this energy here. So like I said, you pull people back from the edge, literally here with your healing energy. It's definitely giving me if someone was on the edge of maybe ending it all, you would be the person who kind of talks them down from that. Like I said, because your energy is like very allowing, you don't make people feel triggered essentially. Like there's just an ease, and then you have the energy of bringing people back into balance, whether it's when they meet you or whether it's through maybe Reiki healing, or maybe it's because they talk to you and you soothe them with your words kind of thing. Your words can be important. But yeah, that's the opposition. It's like we have mirrors here, interacts, relates. It doesn't matter what side of the pond you came from, you can relate to everyone. Like, yeah. But with Virgo here, we have methodical, aligned, ritualistic, efficient, insightful, healthy, dutiful, discerning, witchy. That's definitely you. You have subtle, pure, refined. Okay, so it doesn't matter whether you came from, like I said, the slums, you came from poverty, low income household. It doesn't matter. You give that air of refinement, because you could have been someone who read a lot. You taught yourself. You were watching different things. Watching shows that could teach you something. So it's kind of like you're because it wasn't offered to you in maybe your neighborhood, you were going out and finding things and learning things, whether it was given to you or not, which is a very Virgo thing to do. And you're good at giving advice, which is another good Virgo thing to do. You could also come off as someone who is a perfectionist. Your friendship or the friends that you make are very important to you, and I'm hearing you treat everyone as if they were a friend, which is why it's so easy to relate to you. I'm hearing where everybody knows your name, so it's kind of like you are the bar from Cheers, that show from back in the days of the 90s, where people come and they see you, you make eye contact, you ask them their name, you ask them more about themselves, and they feel comfortable opening up to you, kind of thing, releasing their burdens here. There's also an innocence about you because Virgo is the virgin, which is usually what these two words would say, the virgin, but it says the alchemist, which I also approve of, because I'm sick and tired of, the virgin, they're so innocent. We're not. I'm a Virgo speaking from perspectives, but I also think it depends on your chart as well. So done that. No tangents here. We have beginner ignorance, new skill without practice, and unstable curiosity. Wow, that is what I was saying about maybe even if you did come from a household where maybe it was very customary for people to not know much, to not know how to speak properly, which is why you could not like slang. You took it upon yourself to dig yourself out of that mentality instead of becoming complacent. You're like, no, I'm going to read more books. I'm going to go to the library. I'm going to ask my teacher for books that help me learn better words. Or you just have a love of reading and learning and gaining knowledge. So you never felt complacent in that energy of, oh yeah, I'm just going to, for example, maybe live off the system like everybody else does. No, you wanted to dig yourself out of the hole. I'm hearing fight my way out, write everything down far as I can see from Hamilton. So instead of, what is it called? Succumbing to poverty, succumbing to his mom dying, succumbing to the grief, succumbing to people always telling him he's not smart enough, he's not rich enough, he'll never make it in life. He definitely crawled his way out. He clawed his way out. He started by reading everything, writing everything down as far as he could see. And it ended up costing him getting him where he wanted to be. He ended up becoming a potential president. He's someone who's very pivotal, very vital in the American history, because he's one of the founding fathers. He's on the $10 bill. You know what I mean? He could have stayed in that poverty mindset, or he could have gotten himself out of it, and he did. And that's you. You're a Hamilton, okay? Yeah. You fight against opposition. You're not someone who's going to let anything that's standing in your way win out in the end. You're a fighter, And that's the Aquarian energy coming through. You have very innovative ideas, and like I said, that whole when you come up with something, it's something that's new and fresh. It's something that everybody has not seen, which is why you have that Aquarian energy of, like I said, being the initiator, being the innovator. You come up with new ways to do old things, and they're fresh. You know, your ideas. How else they come off? What is the reputation? Wow. And we have the High Priestess. How fitting. The High Priestess. Yep, you're the preserver of knowledge, the keeper of knowledge and wisdom. And people know if they come to you, they can find answers, which is why we have this Virgo energy here, you know? I'm hearing goddess energy. And we do have Venus here. We have Ace of Chalices. Okay, so you're easily lovable. You're very open to all kinds of peoples from all kinds of backgrounds. And like I said, it is giving tarot reader who has to read for such a wide range of people, especially if you're on YouTube, because you never know who you're going to run into. So you have to give a perspective for everyone. You have to be very open to, for example, if you're giving a reading about a relationship, oh, some of you may be in separation, but if you're not, here's a different interpretation of the cards. If you're in a relationship or if you're single, kind of thing, you know, you see things from all ends and all sides, which allows you to come up with new, fresh ideas. Okay. Venusian energy is someone who's also very beautiful as well, someone who is very abundant, who's good at getting what they want. You could be someone who people just want to give you the world, give you things, give you the world on a platter. That's what I just heard as well. And here we have the Two of Pentacles. You're very good at balancing your energy. So you make people feel emotionally safe. You could be someone who everybody always falls in love with. People easily fall in love with you because that's just you. You relate to everyone. You get along with everyone. Your energy is like so beautiful, so intoxicating, and so allowing, so giving, you know? Maybe because, like I said, you put yourself in that person's shoes, like a big empath here. You're like, how would I want to be treated in this situation? You treat people, like I said, you give them eye contact, you shake their hands, you ask them their name. The next time you see them, oh, hey, so and so, you remember my name? Of course. Why would I not remember your name? You know, you just have that kind of personality. Endearing is what I just heard. But yeah, we have healing powers, growth, amends, release, personal development. Definitely. So you are someone who, since you've gone through such extensive personal development at your own hand, so it's giving shadow work, spiritual awakening, and you went on that journey with your eyes wide open. You found the books, you did the research, you healed yourself essentially, and now you're using that magic to help heal others. That's how you're coming off. So like I said, unconventional in that way of maybe you're spiritual, where everybody else is religious. And it's something that you decided, the path you went down, and you didn't allow other people to deter you from it, you know? So very hard-headed, stubborn as well. How do they come off to the collective? What is the reputation? Here we have the Four of Cups. Yeah, so you may want to watch group 1 as well. But with the Four of Cups, is very uninterested in a lot of love offers that come your way. You're someone who doesn't know. It's kind of thing. You're blind to people who want to be romantically involved with you. Because people fall very easily for you, for your charm, for your wit, what I'm hearing, for your beauty. And it's like I'm hearing, so I fall in love just a little bit every day, someone new. And that's like from their point of view, from other people's point of view, someone falls in love with you every day, but you never realize it because your eyes are always closed. You're just chilling, you know. You're just having a good time with these 3 of Cups in front of him. You're focused on having a good time. Not every encounter is you wanting to fall in love with that person, you know. And then here we have 7 of Cups. Okay, because you have options. With the Lady of the Lake, we have truth coming through twice. I'm sorry if I ignore these cards. Lady of the Lake, we have absolute truth, and then we have truth. So you are someone who delivers absolute truth, which the High Priestess does do. You don't lie. People can always trust in you to tell them the honest truth, the gospel truth, whether they want to hear it or not. Yeah. And then here we have 5 energy, which is Hierophant energy. So yeah, the Two of Pentacles here, you are someone who's very much, you're very even keel. You're someone who makes time for life, love, play, work, responsibilities. You're very much, you know, you how can I say it? You disperse your energy very like responsibly, where you have time for everything, you make time for everyone. And that's going back to that example of when you meet people, or if people come to see you, it's kind of like an artist that has a meet and greet. People who come to see you, you're making sure to take time out of your day to greet every single one of them, look them in the eye, give them a smile. You want a picture kind of thing. That's the kind of energy you're giving people. You're very allowing in that way. So maybe your bodyguard, for example, if you're someone who may have bodyguards, they're like, oh no, they can't come, don't come any closer. And you're like, Bob, relax, like let them in. You know what I mean? I always have time for my fans. I always have time for my followers. I always have time for people who make time or take time out of their schedule to see me. Okay? You come through as someone who has a lot of options romantically, or maybe even career wise. You're someone who has your hand in a lot of different things. So you're not someone who's just creative. You're also someone who's very smart, someone who's very intuitive, someone who's very intelligent, and you have your hand in a lot of different pies. You're baking a rhubarb pie over here, and you're baking a freaking blueberry pie, and the next thing you're baking an apple pie kind of thing, a pecan pie, a pumpkin pie. It's like you cannot just stay in one place. You have to learn different things. You probably know a lot about different subjects, and that's because you told yourself, I have to know different things. I can't just be put myself in a box. I'm hearing nobody puts a baby in a corner. You refuse to be placed in a corner. You refuse to be placed in a box. You refuse to be someone who could only get along or get by in one group of people. You have to get along with everyone. You have to know a little bit about everything, kind of thing. You have to be good at making your own music. So if you're someone who makes music, you know how to make your own music, make your own beat, compose songs, read the music. If you are someone who bakes, you know how to bake from scratch, okay, or cook from scratch. Like if you're someone who um, does tarot, you started from the basics and did your shadow work and learned all the cards the right way. Maybe even went to school for it, or you probably didn't have to because you're your own teacher. You're your own life's teacher. You taught yourself a lot of different things, and that's why you come off as this high priestess to everyone else. You know a lot. I'm hearing seasoned. You could be someone who, when people need to feel better or they have a headache, oh, just take this herb. Or, oh my gosh, this guy's been clinging to me and I just met him the other day. Oh, do a cord cutting ceremony, or use this herb, or write his name down and burn it, or do this and freeze it, or do that and bury it, kind of thing. You have all like the little tips and tricks for people. And that's why they come flocking to you, because you're so relatable. And I'm hearing maybe you don't cast that much judgment, you know? You're more judgmental of yourself than anybody else, is what I just heard. So since we do have Virgo here and they can be a little bit judgmental, they are more so judgmental about themselves than they are about anybody else coming from a Virgo. Okay. Just saying that, putting that out there. Here we have the Five of Scythes. You are someone who's good at banter, good a little debate back and forth. You are someone who's always in your head. It's something that I'm hearing. It's hard to sometimes understand what you're thinking, because you hold secrets very close, or you hold a lot about yourself close to your chest. Yes, you're very open. Yes, you're very friendly. Yes, you're very allowing, very motherly, very healing. But you're also actually very secretive and protective of yourself and your energy. So that's the same thing was coming through in group one. Here we have the Queen of Scythes, which is the Queen of Swords. Like, what more do you need? You're the teacher. You're the mentor. You're the person who's teaching people how to live a better life, how to do better things with themselves, how to elevate. Look at how she's reading a book here, and here she's researching. Like, stop it. You're always learning. You're always absorbing things. Like, you're a quick learner. I'm hearing photographic memory. Can I get one more card for how do they come off? How do people see them? And Aquarius are probably considered the smartest in the zodiac. So we have Aquarian energy, and Virgo is up there as well as Gemini. So like a lot of those energies are coming through here. So very intelligent, very smart, always speaking truth. You always know the truth as well. People can't lie to you, is what I just heard. That's your reputation. People can't lie to you because you always know if they're lying or not. Here we have the Four of Stakes, which is celebration, union. People like being around you. Your energy is very fun when you are in like a very sociable mood. Like I said, you get along with everyone. You're fun to be around. People love being in your energy, having a good time with you. You raise the vibe of any room you're in, is what I just heard as well. Here we have the Eight of Pentacles. You're always hard at work, learning new things, putting pedal to the metal. Um, become an expert at what you know. And there's like a lot of things that this is Buffy and Giles training her. She has to become a master at killing these things, the demons, the vampires kind of things that go bump in the night. She has to become a master at killing them so they don't kill her kind of thing. So it's like someone who, the more you know, the more wise you are, the more seasoned you are, the harder you are to pull one over on, or the harder it is to come at you and catch you off guard, is what I'm hearing. So the more you know, the more people can't get one over on you. So it's kind of like if you're in a business meeting, before you get there, you learn about everybody that's coming. You learn about their weaknesses, kind of vibe very Queen of Swords, and you're very cutthroat. You learn about things to maybe not take advantage of people. You learn as much as you can about them so they can't come back and blindside you, kind of thing. So you're taking stock, you're keeping, what is it called, receipts as well. That's what I'm hearing. So you could be the kind of person who's taking screenshots of receipts. I'm also hearing a super sleuther. So you are the friend that is figuring out all the different things about the boy or person their friend is with. You immediately know if the guy is no good or not. Like, and as soon as you meet them, nope, next one, sis. And they're like, oh, why? I don't believe you. And they spend more time with them, things go wrong, and big, all you can do is just sit like, not even saying I told you so, but you probably said it a million times by now, but they still don't believe you, kind of thing. You know a lot of things, and it's because you spent a lot of time honing those skills. Okay, here we have the Nine of Sides. You help people release their fear and their worries, so you put people at ease as well. But like I said, that Virgo energy coming through, you are someone who's like very much in your head. And people don't know how much you're very good at letting people think that everything's okay on the outside while your heart is racing, your mind is racing. You can have a little bit of social anxiety, but you have to overcome that if you want to get ahead in life, kind of thing. And then here we have the Hermit, which is very knowledgeable, very secluded, very mysterious and broody as well when you're ready. Because that was him. I think his name was Oz or something like that. Willow was trying to get to know him, but because he was a werewolf, he was always pushing her away. He was also good at music, learning instruments. So that's definitely coming through here. You are a mystic. You are an artist. You're musically inclined. You're very intelligent, very smart, kind of vibe. You know a bunch of different things. You nourish people. You nourish your mind, nourish your heart, nourish their soul. You're very abundant. People ask you for things. You're so giving with your time and energy as well. And because of that, people are always ready to give back to you, which is why you're abundant, because you're always giving up your time and energy. People are always willing to give back to you. This reading went mad long, but I think I said all that I needed to say. This was very, a little bit nuanced. But yeah, you are the super sleuther. You are very intelligent, quick as a whip, sharp-witted, and that's what this Five of Swords is coming through as well. You're a good debater. You're very witty. You always have a comeback. People cannot win an argument with you, is what I just heard. But there's also something about you like always overthinking, and I do feel like it has something to do with this High Priestess energy coming through here. It's like the High Priestess is always getting downloads, always getting knowledge. She cannot stop the inflow of knowledge. She cannot stop. And that's what was happening in Hamilton, bro. That's crazy. Y'all are Hamiltons. He was never satisfied. He always had to get more, learn more, prove himself even more. So it's kind of like you're in that mindset of, I always have to better myself. I can't never get too complacent or comfortable. I have to keep getting better, keep learning more, keep helping people, kind of thing. It's never enough. The constant overgiver, overachiever, Virgo archetype, definitely here. And the wounded healer is someone who's never going to feel perfectly at home or perfectly safe, because while they are healing others, there's still something inherently wounded about them. Wow. That's crazy. But yeah, it's like people, the tortured artists, what you're giving, you know? Like you heal everybody else with your music. Like I said, I don't know if I said it here or in group one, but you're someone who goes searching for the deep cuts. You're not someone who wants the mainstream pop music. You want the music that's gonna make you feel, that's gonna make you cry, that's gonna make you hurt, that's gonna make you bleed. You know? You're not here for the punchy beats, the high vibe to get me dancing. I don't want to dance, I want to sit and I want to feel. So you can be the person writing those songs and giving them to people with the artist that keeps coming through, the artist energy that keeps coming through, or the person who goes looking for them. And I feel like you're both, honestly. Like a very creative, artistic energy. And I love how this ended up changing from, what was it on? I feel like you got Gemini, which is, like I said, that very smart, intelligent energy that was coming through. And it's funny how I said it, I didn't realize. I'm like, Aquarius, Virgo, and Gemini are considered some of the smartest signs, most intelligent anyway. and Gemini did come out. Then I don't know what happened, but it flipped over to Cancer, which is fourth house energy, very mothering, taking care of people, making people feel safe and taken care of kind of energy. But I don't want to keep yapping your ear off. That is how people see you. That's how you show up in the collective. Very multifaceted, very multi talented as well. Okay. So I hope this reading resonated. If it did, feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. Join the tribe. We'd love to have you. I hope you're having a beautiful, wonderful day whenever you watch this reading. And as always, I will see you guys in the next one. Bye. Hello, my gorgeous group threes. Welcome to your reading. What I just realized is that I did choose this deck for you guys to choose from, but I did not use them for the rest of the piles, which is crazy, right? Right? So you're special today. Don't tell group one and group two. Shh. So there could be something special about you already. You get privileges that other people don't get. You get access to things other people don't. Kind of vibe is already coming through. I do feel called to roll the dice first and foremost. This reading is going to be about your reputation. How do people see you? How do you show up in the world? Okay, from the standpoint or viewpoint of others. Okay, here we have, what is that? Aquarius. We have Venus, and we have 11th house. So Aquarius coming through twice. Yeah, something special about you. Something out of the box. I'm hearing out of the box. Out of the box. Something out of the box. But then also very alluring and hypnotizing. Because Venus can't be one-upped, can't be compared to anyone else. Her beauty, her creativity, her abundance cannot be compared. Okay? Nor emulated is what I just heard. So you're someone who cannot be copied. You're unique, one of a kind. What is he doing back there? Sorry. My dog doing some stuff. Okay, so we're gonna get into the energy. What is the reputation? How do people see them? I'm hearing the revolution is not televised. So you could be someone who is very, I'm hearing, health conscious, environment conscious, body conscious. You bring awareness to all those things, which is why you're bringing your star in the revolution. And what you do is not televised because you do it not in the dark, but you're not very boastful about it. You're not trying to get everybody to be like, oh my gosh, you're a saint. You know, Aquarians don't really like attention. They're friendly, they're sociable, but they don't really like to have people in their business. I don't feel like anyway. We have good cheer. You're a good time. And you bring a lot of good cheer to people around you. We have divine guidance. Interesting. So you're here with a purpose is what I just heard. Is that straight? I think it looks straight. How do people see my group threes, please? I'm hearing God's favorite. I can't. You're God's favorite. Like you have divine guidance. You're always seeing the angel numbers. Things are always turning out great for you. We have safe home. You're particularly protected. You know, God is like showing special attention, or you're one of his favorites, like I said. We have fertility. Harvest and fertility give me the same vibes. You're good at getting what you want. You're good at planting seeds. You're good at investing your time wisely into things. I'm hearing there's like a lot of different projects you dedicate your time to. And you're very good at time management, essentially is what I'm trying to say. No, that's not true. Very good at time management. Good cheer, good time, divine guidance. I said all these things. Safe home. You are a safe place for a lot of people. You could be someone who does run your own safe. I'm hearing safe space from the new reboot of Charmed. I think in season 2, there is a place called Safe Space where it's a place that allows creators of all backgrounds, races, ages to come to that place as a safe space to have like businesses, you know. So you could be someone who has your own little business and you have like a network, because Aquarius like do give me networking energy. Like I said, they are very social people, but when it comes to mass connections, not personal connections. So they have a lot of friends, but do they consider everyone their friend? Okay, they have a lot of acquaintances, they don't consider everyone their friend. That's a better way to put it. Okay, yeah, but safe space. You may allow that for people, like people who are abused. They can come and find safety with you, and you have the resources to help them get back on their feet. People who were kicked out of their houses, their homes, they can come and find sanctuary with you. Or that could be something that you want to do. You are the humanitarian. Yeah. So we're going to keep pulling cards. You're the humanitarian. You're helping everyone. And that's because you were placed here for a specific purpose. You're one of God's favorites on purpose. He put you here to help other people, to help his people. I'm hearing Moses, let my people go. So you could be like a bit of a Moses kind of thing, a prophet. Okay, so how do people see them? We have the novice, innocence, beginner, ignorance, new skill without practice. So you're good at things that you don't have official training in, which is coming through a little bit in group two. We felt called to group two anyway. Here we have burden. So this is coming through in all three groups. Maybe there's somebody who's watching the whole reading. Hello, if you are. We have truth, which came through in group two. So good thing I mentioned it. And we have protection. Yeah, you're someone who's protected. People know they can't pull the wool over your eyes. They can't get one over on you because anytime they do, like they end up in trouble instead. Like it bounces back, kind of like a return to sender thing. We have a letting go, and then we have restriction, which came through in group one. So yeah, there's definitely someone I feel like who's watching all three readings. Like why? I mean, if you have the time, go ahead. Thank you. Definitely fixing this because I don't like how it's looking. Okay. You're someone who can easily let go of, I'm hearing, grudges. You're not someone who holds grudges, or burdens, which is why you're protected. Because there are certain people who would want revenge and can hold grudges for freaking years and centuries. You know what I mean? You're someone who easily forgives people. You know, you have a forgiving energy about you, which people love. Like good things happen for you because of how you live your life and how you take care of other people, which was coming through in group two a little bit. I'm going to shuffle these really quickly. So with novice here, it's definitely you are someone who could be good at a little bit of everything. Is kind of what I'm getting from novice. It's like you learn something and you quickly go from a novice, or you're always wanting to learn new things and becoming a novice all over again. So you're someone who wants to study psychology, and then once you get your PhD in psychology or a master's in psychology, you're on to another subject. It could be literally you're going to school for all these things, or you're just learning yourself because you pick up on things very easily. You're not someone who needs like a formal education. You could pick up on things, read books, and become an expert on your own. According on your own time, but you're always starting things, and there's like an innocent eternal optimist, always wanting the best for everyone, always thinking that people can change, kind of thing, that kind of air about like a child essentially, where children, no matter how much you hurt them, they still would forgive you, kind of thing. With an unstable curiosity, people could think you have too much on your plate. You carry too many burdens. Ooh, and that burden did come through. Yeah, you have like a lot of responsibilities, and it could restrict you from doing certain things. It's kind of like someone who's choosing to live their life for the Lord, is what I'm hearing. And I keep getting the example of Moses, the way he wasn't able to like sin or do any of those bad things. He was like someone to look up to. Like, and that is someone, people who live their life a certain kind of way, restrict themselves by religion or spirituality, and then they say, okay, I can't do this, I can't do that. I have to be an example. I have to set an example for everybody else. And that's what you do. You set the example. You're the person who has a lot of responsibilities. Like I said, if you're the person who has the home for homeless people, or disadvantaged youth, or things like that. I'm hearing LGBTQ plus. Like if you're someone who believes in those things, or you're starting an organization for. Why am I hearing disestablishmentarianism? Get out of here. You're someone who is against the government. You're someone who wants, you just have certain beliefs, and you have to uphold those beliefs, and it restricts you a lot from doing maybe a lot of things you want to do. So you come off like a saint to people, like, oh my gosh, you don't sleep around, and you don't do this, and you don't kill, and you don't eat meat. And it's like, no, it's like, how am I supposed to be preaching that we need to stop killing the animals if I'm eating meat? How can I, you know what I mean? Like, very much I'm hearing light as a daisy kind of feel, like just very sweet innocent. Okay, let me get some cards from here. Like, I'm trying to over explain it, I'm sorry. It's like unsullied is what I'm hearing as well. So sweet, innocent, unsullied kind of energy. How do people see group 3? We have Gemini, the butterfly. Curious, communicative, versatile, flexible. We have the moon. Interesting. A little bit of mysterious here. You do follow your gut instinct, which allows you to do a lot of different things. But you also follow your gut instinct, and you are protected behind that. So it's like, like everything I'm hearing gets greenlit. Like, if you were to put in a movie, it gets greenlit. If you were to put in an offer for a loan, it goes through, because like you have that divine protection backing you, because you're supposed to be doing these things. You can't do these things without a little extra help, kind of thing. Like I said, you were brought here for a reason. So whatever you do gets greenlit. Or if you're someone who's a social media person, you get a lot of views because your message is supposed to be widespread. Something that's important that people need to hear. We have flow. So you have things that you're very easy, go with the flow, but things do come easy to you. Things flow into your life quite easily. And then we have allowing, which makes sense. Here we have Cancer coming through, which is the doula. You help birth things. You could be someone who was given like the advantage of maybe having a lot of money, or growing up in wealth, so you could use that money to help people. So you were placed in a certain standing in life for a reason. The way Moses was sent to the castle because God knew that one day he would have to let his people go. He would have to become a leader for the Israelites and save them from the wicked, his stepbrother king, kind of, yeah. So you, everywhere you go, you're put in the right place at the right time. When things just happen easy for you, people are like, oh my gosh, you're so lucky. But it's not luck, it's that divine guidance coming through. Right place, right time, synchronicities. Here we have semi-sextile, allowing, encourages, sees the potential in. So it's kind of like, through you, people find a lot of opportunities. If people come to you with a movie, you can let it go through. If people come to you saying they're homeless, you can find them somewhere to go. You could be someone who has a lot of connections. Like I said, you have a lot of acquaintances. That Aquarian energy coming through, the 11th house energy coming through. You have a lot of friends in high places, and you were given that privilege for a reason, to help people, to be a blessing in certain people's lives. So it's kind of like, if this person needs something, and like, oh, I'm never going to get it. It's like you show up one day and you end up being at the right place at the right time for that person, and giving them exactly what they needed in a very serendipitous way. Harvest fertility, You're a gift to other people, or through God or spirit or the divine, you're a gift to other people, and you end up being in the right place in the right time. Things flow very well. They're very allowing, and it's kind of like things just go easily, smoothly, if that makes sense. Mood feelings, we have instinct, nurturing, gut reactions, comfort, digestion, home, family, conditioning, habits, femininity, lineage, privacy. So you could be someone who's also very private, with that whole protection and restriction. You don't allow everybody access to you, but you still are able to be helpful to people. Emotions, sustenance. Yeah, you provide sustenance for other people, because I feel like you are someone who can sustain yourself. Your life is very, I don't want to say cushy, but it could be a little comfortable. Like I said, you were allowed certain things so you could help other people. But we have harmonizes, aids, enriches, benefits, energizes, enjoys, eases, lubricates, gifts, rhymes, supports, indulges. Yeah, you're a gift to other people. They consider you a gift. Like, when you came to life, you gave them the benefit of the doubt. You gave them an opportunity they couldn't refuse. And it's like, ever since then, their life was like coming up roses. It was flowing so beautifully. And it was because you kind of like came to be like that initiator in their life, to give them the knowledge they needed, the funds they needed, the references they needed, the connections they needed to get where they needed to go. Whether you were actually giving them the money, you knew someone who knew someone who knew someone. I have a friend who knows a friend who knew a friend, kind of thing. That's you. So you have a lot of connections. You come through as someone who's very connected. and let things, and you can allow things to like flow smoothly, if that makes sense. I don't know why I'm stuttering, annoying. Okay, what I'm going to do is pull from the tarot before we end this spread or this reading. How do people see my group threes, please? How do people see them? Like, I feel like as the readings go on, they're getting longer and longer. Just making space for the tarot cards. How do people see my group threes, please? Yep, unique, hard to find, because we have this pearl here. So Cancer coming through again with the moon. I just heard mother of pearl. So yeah, someone who's very unique. Here we have three of scythes, a little bit of a heartbreaker. Like I said, you're not someone who's maybe looking for close, intimate connections with people, and you break a lot of people's hearts, because we have Venus here. So very easy to love is what I'm hearing. Here we have Page of Scythes, which is Page of Swords. And that's the energy of the novice. It's coming over the novice, which you love, okay? But why is it in reverse? What card is this? We have the Ten of Sticks in reverse. Yeah, very easy, with go with the flow, carefree kind of energy. You don't stress about things. I'm hearing happy-go-lucky. Here we have Knight of Pentacles. You have no problem putting in the work. And fighting for what you believe. Because I believe this is Riley in season 4 of Buffy, where he is someone who is affiliated with a organization that kills vampires and things that go bump in the night. So essentially, they're helping the Slayer on their own way, but she's not aware of it, and they operate under the college she goes to, kind of thing. And when they first meet each other, she doesn't know who he is, and I don't think he knows who she is anyway, but they do learn about each other more as we go more into the season. But they also torture the demons and the vampires and the things that go bump in the night, and Buffy doesn't believe that. You end them and that's it, but they were torturing them, they were experimenting on them, they were taking some of their blood to like give to them to make them stronger and faster, like a whole bunch of sorcery. So it's kind of like, you could, like I said, that's what, is that what disestablishmentarianism means? Like, you're breaking down like big companies and, you know, making things like on the up and up again. I'm not sure, I'll look it up after this reading, but I can't be 100% sure. But that came back into my mind. So it's kind of like you're breaking these, and they, people who think they're helping but are not actually helping, you're sitting there, you know, calling them out. Here we have Knight of Scythes, Knight of Swords. Why do your swords keep coming through in the verse? Maybe you're someone who's not that talkative about yourself. But that's funny, because then we have the Gemini energy, which is someone who is quite talkative. I'm hearing you don't spill your business to everyone. So you're sociable, but in like a very much, oh, you're my acquaintance kind of way. You're not blabbing all of your personal business, you know? How do people see my group threes, please? How do people see my group threes? Wow. Now what I'm not going to do is take all these cards. Here we have King of Pentacles. Okay, yes, you help. It's giving someone who invests in other people's business and in their ideas. And I love how I was talking about someone like, you know, Moses and religion. So you could be come off as someone who's very religious. Like I said, you hold yourself back. You're very restrictive of like certain religions. You can't eat meat on these days, or you can't have your head out. You know, you can't show your hair to people. You know what I mean? You can't use technology after this time of day, kind of vibe is what you're giving. You're someone who follows those rules. I'm hearing diligently, faithfully, and because of that, you're able to help other people. And it's like, it's giving me fasting, where you're not going to be able to have like a closer connection with God if you don't fast at certain times, and, you know, show him that you're willing to sacrifice some things in order to, you know, earn his love. Not earn it, which is what I don't like about Christian sometimes. It's like, you have to earn his love and do these things to earn his love, when it's like, didn't you say you love us? Didn't you say you love us unconditionally, kind of thing? But we're not getting into religion right now. It's like fasting, like giving up eating or sleeping or watching TV or meat in order to prove to him that you want to get closer to him, kind of vibe, or whatever. Yeah, that kind of stuff. You're definitely devoted. I'm hearing just another LA devotee. So you can consider yourself a devotee, which is why you don't talk to everyone, you don't open yourself up to everyone because you're very personal, private about your life, and it could break a few hearts. Are these other cards that flew out? Yeah, they were. High Priestess, we have the moon coming through again. In reverse, you provide clarity and light to others. You are mysterious, but you also provide clarity and light and resources to other people. The Devil, interesting. You have the Sun in reverse. I don't want to take all of these, honestly. Like, I'll shuffle again and see if anyone wants to end it. You have the strength. You have like a lot of inner strength. You have a lot of willpower, is what I'm hearing. So, like I said, it takes a lot of willpower to fast, to not eat certain things like that everybody else is eating. Like, you could be someone who grew up with meat and you know how good it tastes, but you're like, okay, no, I have to stick to my faith and I can't eat that on this day, or I can't eat that at all. And it's hard because you have like a lot of restraint, a lot of inner strength that people don't know, but yeah. But I mean, they would know if you are someone who, is very open and honest about what you believe in, kind of thing. Like, no, I can't be alone in a room with a man. I can't eat this. I can't do that. Like, you're a little bit of restriction to you. So other people may see it as restriction while you see it as devotion. Okay, is what I'm definitely hearing. But a lot of inner strength to say no to certain things. Keep your energy pure. And look, we have judgment because you're waiting for judgment day. So if you are someone who's very religious, but you so happen to like tarot, that's what this is giving you. You're waiting for your judgment moment. Or like I said, you could be someone who is trying to separate themselves from Christianity or Muslim or Hindu, who's trying to distance themselves from a very highly religious upbringing with all these crosses in the back. But what I was saying, like, it's funny how I was like I said, they were using their powers for bad. You're the Buffy coming in and kind of tearing down all of this. You don't like things that are evil with the devil card coming out. You don't like things that are harming people, even if it is things that are quite unsavory, the way those things were. Because you can see them in the back of the card, how they're in cages. They're in things and they're experimenting on them, taking their, like, a bunch of stuff. And it's just like crazy. You know? What they were doing. It's like, you're going to kill them and let them be free. Do not experiment on them. That's unholy. That's what I just heard. So yeah, you're someone who's very inspirational. People look up to you. People admire your resilience. They admire your restraint. They admire your strength. Okay, that's all that I'm getting for you guys, though. And look at how she's running a shop, a spiritual shop. That's Anya. So yeah, like I said, you could be someone who's trying to separate yourself from the church. You're trying to separate yourself from spirituality. You're trying to separate yourself from something. Like, I feel like that's what that disestablishmentarianism was coming through. You could have grown up in a cult, which is what these people were definitely giving. You could have grown up in a cult. You could have grown up in a house that was extremely religious, or flip it on the other side, the other extreme. You grew up in a house that was lackadaisical, that was very much, free, loving. It's giving me cult, and it is giving me growing up in like a very maybe hippie community where everybody's allowed to do everything and nothing. There's no rules and there's no structure, and that's something you need in life and you strive for, which is why you became someone who was so restricted, because you came from a household that where there was like no restrictions at all, and you didn't like that. So now you live your life you live a life that's very much routine and like I said, strict parameters, barriers, what is another way to say it? Yeah, just barriers. You don't allow yourself to do certain things, say certain things, act a certain way, just like very much innocent, very much looking, people look up to you, essentially, is what is coming through in this spread here. Very much in your feelings, and you invoke a lot of feelings of people. You could be someone who's a doula. Actually, you help birth kids, and you could have you could have come from an environment that I'm hearing it believes in, what do you call it? I'm hearing Jehovah's Witnesses as well, where they believe in, if you like don't resuscitate, or I don't believe in blood transfusions, even if it could save another life. I don't believe in transplants, even if it could save another life, kind of vibe. And it's just like, some things just don't make sense to you, and you could have set out to change those things that didn't make sense to you, or to find reason behind it, or to make it make sense, essentially. But yeah, you could, like I said, grown up very religious and has tried to been transitioned into a life of spirituality, or you grew up in a place, in a household, or environment that was very spiritual, you're trying to kind of go the other route now. But I'm going to stop babbling. That's how you come off to people. That is your reputation. I hope this reading resonated. If it did, feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. Join the tribe. We'd love to have you. I hope you're having a beautiful, wonderful day whenever you watch this reading. And as always, I will see you guys in the next reading. Bye.